Last section we left with this. We having something known as the wireless security. Okay, so let me just come and understand what is the wireless, because we talk about the wired, MACsec, we talk about the TrustSec, we talk about the dot 802.1x for the wired again, MAB we talk, but what is the wireless? So if we talk about the wireless security, we again have to like the WPA and WPA2. I just showed you in the previous section. They use the protocol to make sure your network is very secure. They use the protocol that is a extensible authentication protocol, that is the E protocols. So this is your E protocols, and this E protocol is going to provide the 822.1x authentication similar to the wire what we have, right? So your laptop is having one of the like acting as a supplement or like a supplicant, or might be you need to install some additional software to achieve this authentication. They need to connect with your WLC via the AP, and then it is going to be authorized by the Cisco ASA. So you can see 802.1x authentication, IEEE standard which define port in network control, use the EAP over LAN, right? The similar packet flow you can see here. Now, this is the packet flow is exactly same. What I'm going to say, even it's a wired or wireless. If we are talking about the EAP OL, it's going to similar kind of the packet flow for us. So what is going to happen when this EAP is going to be happen? So let me just show the packet flow. So there is 3 component you have to understand for this particular authentication. Supplicant endpoint requesting access means, supplicant means your endpoint might be you having the some software install, or might be endpoint having the features. They are requesting some access. Then authenticator is going to validate, and on behalf of the supplicant they are going to request on the ISE. ISE is going to challenge you again, and then you have to just send the challenge message to the laptop. Again he will send the your challenge request response, then it is going to send again to the ISE, then it is going to approve whether you should allow or not. So authentication is just acting as a man in middle or proxy, but direct connection is not going to your ISE. It is first landing to the authenticator, and authenticator is just reaching to the authentication server. This is how it is going to be happen. So supplicant endpoint requesting access, authenticator network device controlling physical access to the network, authentication server perform the actual authentication of the endpoint, right? So if you see the packet flow for this one, so EUL start, the same concept you can see. This is that's why I didn't explain a lot of things here, but you understand here. EUL start message is going to send from your endpoint. Whenever 802 authentication is going to happen, your ISE or radius server is going to be required, and your even wireless or wired, the method is going to be same. Only if you are using the wired, that is a plain 802.1 authentication configuration required on the wired port. If you are using the wireless, this protocol is required, that is a EAP protocol need to be enabled. Then request is going to reach the authenticator identity, it is going to respond based on your identity, and then the EOPL start is going to happen, like extensible authentication protocol authentication process is started. Authenticator requested like identity. If identity response not come from this PC, this authenticator never going to reach to the authentication server. But if it get the response, then on behalf of this response they request access to the authentication server. Then authentication server going to challenge you, hey, are you sure do you want? Based on challenge, this is going to send another EAP request to the supplicant. Supplicant respond with some parameter, then again it's sent to the request to the ISE server. Then it is going to accept it, and you are authorized to access the network. So this is your EAP authentication process. I hope you guys got it. Moving next, if you talk about the EAP, we know how the process is going to happen, and this is for the wireless network only, right? This is for the wireless security only. But again, in the EAP, we having the various flavor. One EAP is the EAP native EAP types, which one is the EAP TLS and EAP MD5. Most secure and most usable. Everywhere you find that. So what is it is going, how it is going to be used? This is going to use one of the most secure for the EAP types. Use certificate-based authentication for the mutual authentications. Also, it is highly regarded in the BUID deployment. This is always any bring on devices you are going to use. This deployment is highly, regarded or like suggested to use that. That is based on the TLS authentication is going to happen. Like TLS is transport layer security. TLS DTLS, you heard about that. TLS is a TCP based transport layer security, and DTLS is UDP based transport layer security. This is datagram transport layer security we call, right? So EAP MD5, what is the EAP MD5? So EAP MD5 is another flavor for the EAP native. So it is also hide credential in the hash and common for the IP phones. So it is, if you are using the IP phones, then you just have to use the EAP MD5. Wireless IP phone you have heard about, right? So if you are having the IP phones wireless, that's this is going to be used. Other devices, they are going to use the EAP TLS for the authentication. Okay. Now another flavor we have, that is another native EAP types. We have two more EAP types. One is the EAP MS SHAP version 2 and EAP GTC. So this only come in a picture when you want to communicate with the Active Directory. This protocol is going to require if you want to communicate with the Active Directory. If you're using this normal EAP TLS, it is not going to provide the communication with the Active Directory. If you're using this EAP MD5, this is for the only IPv5, IP phones, not V5. But this EAP MS SHAP version 2 credential encrypted with the MS SHAP version 2 session. All credential is going to be encrypted here, right? Means encrypted here. Simple transmission of the credentials, but this is only going to use for the any Active Directory communication. What is the EAP GTC? It is a Cisco alternative to the MS chip. So if you want to just use this Cisco alternative, EAP GTC, enable more generic authentication. EAP GTC used for the LDAP. So Active Directory LDAP you want to use, this is Cisco one. So if you, this is open standard. So if you want to use similar feature Active Directory LDAP, then it is developed by the Cisco. So you can use this one. So both having the same function, but one is developing from the open standard, one is for the Cisco. So you can use this one for the Cisco. Moving next, we having another type of the EAP, that is a tunnel EAP. So what is a tunnel EAP? So when you talk about a tunnel EAP, that means, just give me 1 second. So what is a tunnel EAP? So tunnel EAP is like, let's suppose this is a tunnel EAP. We having the PIP. See, this is the like EAP is going to build the one up tunnel. So this is the PIP, protected EAP, means you are just protecting even the EAP. So this is the one secure, EAP is already secure, and you securing the secure things like the IPsec phase 1 and phase 2. So phase 1 is the outer layer, which is providing the control, secure control environment, and then you just building your IPsec 2 tunnel, phase 2 tunnel, where you're sending the actual data. Similar is going to happen in the protected EAP. Protected EAP is just outer layer, and this is the one control. You can think about control security, and inside of this you are protecting EAP, and you sending the data inside of this. So it's a highly protected. So we having this tunnel EAP. Tunnel EAP is like known as the PEEP, that is a protected EAP, originally proposed by the Microsoft. This was the proposed by the Microsoft and used by the, that is known as the 509 certificate for the authentication. Use an additional native EAP type inner method. So if you creating this outer protected tunnel, then again you have to create the inner tunnel for the actual data communication. Similar, the if fast, this is again designed by the Cisco. See, the one Microsoft, another Cisco. So this is like how competition is going to happen in the market. Keep like developing the product so customer not switch their services to other vendors. So this is created by the Cisco. So fast, if fast, there is a flexible authentication via the secure tunnel. Again, it's a tunnel, but it's for the roaming users. If you want to roam, you want to do the faster wireless roaming, protect access credential, that is a PACS file, PAX file. So you can use this if fast. If fast is again very secure, and it is going to be used to just protect your all faster roaming solutions, and that is for the Cisco only. So this is all how it is going to happen for the if protocols. And if you see here, this is how device switch and the outer tunnel, inner tunnel, it is going to happen. And if you talk about the configuration, right now WLC is not live. It's a date. I try to recover, but let me just have capture for you. So if you want to do the EAP configuration, how you can do that? So you just have to go in dashboard. You just have to go in the security and you just have to go in the authentication. After going in authentication, probably just have to go define your authentication servers. What is my authentication server? You just have to put the IP address and password. And after defining the authentication server, then it looks like this way. So your authentication server will be deployed. Then after authentication server, you just have to go in your WLAN section, and then WLAN, you just have to go your SSID. And after SSID, you just have to create the security. Then here you have to select what is the WPA1, only WPA or WPA2 for layer 2 security. And then you have to select here 802.1 as authentication. See here 802.1 authentication, you just have to select here. That's what we are talking about, the EAP. And also you'll get the option once you selected, right? Even if for pre-saved key, if you want to do the selection, like it's not very usable, but it's a pre-saved key. If you want to do that, the key basis authentication, you want to do that, you can select this one also. But this is a like EAP authentication, right? 802.1x authentication. Once do that, then we created this servers, right? Server group. So we just have to go in the AAA server and we have to call this server, which we created the first time. We created server here. That server need to be called in the AAA. So this is going to talk to your IS, and after talking, they are going to authenticate you. Then you are going to connect to the SSID and get the access, network access. And here you can see, you just have to define your EAP profile. So you just have to go again in security, local EAP. If you want to define the local EAP in your WLC itself, so you just go here and define the local EAP, and here you can select what if fast you want to design, like activate, if PEAP you want to activate, LEAP you want to, if fast, this all you can select based on your need and based on your requirement. And that likewise the PEAP is quite common, so we can select the PEAP and we just enable, and it's going to be deployed, and it is just going to apply for your WLAN. So you can go here and you can just go AAA server, and you don't need to define the global server. It is going to authenticated by the WLC itself if you define the EAP local. So based on your profile, whatever is selected, it is going to be authenticated local. Profile created here for the local, and it is just going to define here as a local EAP local, and then it is just going to apply, and then it is going to be create different user and password. Once the user and password is going to come to you, they are going to check your EAP profile, and then after it is going to be validated. When similar to the web authentication we discussed about, web authentication, like it is just what I explained in earlier. The guest user connect to any wireless controller, it is going to open a portal. Portal is just going to be enter username and password, centralized web portal, and again it is going to be validated by Cisco IS, and based on that web portal, even you can create this portal on your controller as well. And then you just have to see, these are the steps. Guest user connect to the web authentication SSID. Guest user opens the web browser. WLC redirect the web browser to guest portal. Guest portal authentication user and inform WLC via the radius servers. And access control attribute applied to the guest user WLC return successful login. But this is the web authentication. These are all the steps is going to be happen. So I believe you guys must experience, because we all are like very tech person and keep using the Wi-Fi nowadays. So we know how it is going to happen. So some beautiful feature for the web authentication. We can say the benefits: no special client software is going to required, no need to depend on any software, familiarity for the end users, customizable for the user interface. You can design the user UI UX interface whatever you want, how you want to looks like your page, and they can define your username and password to just connect that. And like limitations we have: no transparent end user. This is not going to be transparent to user. No such secure like 802. It's less secure because 802.1x is very secure. And lack of a single sign. This is not going to support single sign, like your all possibilities for the SSO. So this is all about your this module. We understand how this all two section we can discuss, right? So I hope we are good for today. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day.